Today on Dr. Phil, he claims he married online.
He sent a lawyer $25,000.
She's a beautiful woman. This is not a scam.
And that his new wife,
The word wife usually describes somebody that I've at least met.
has a big inheritance.
10.6 million.
You've seen the will.
I have not.
Is it a scam?
Who married you?
I don't know.
You just signed your name on a piece of paper and some lawyer told you, okay, now you're married?
Yes, I sent my driver's license, Social Security. They had me investigated.
I'll bet they did. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today is going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
Get ready to take care of you. Shelby is a straight-A college student majoring in political science and making it on her own. She hasn't seen her father in 7 years, and her mother passed away when she was only 12. Now, it was during that time her father, David, decided to up and move to Italy to be with a woman, leaving Shelby to be raised by her grandmother.
I got this phone call from my father stating he and I are moving to Italy. He met a woman, she's amazing, we're gonna travel the world, and you're gonna love it. And I thought to myself, I don't think I'll love it. This just sounds insane. My mom was still sick. I wasn't just gonna up and leave my mother. He was just, you're not going? Okay, well, I'm still going. My mom passed away about a month and a half later. When my father moved back to the United States, I was excited to hear that he was back. But in the last 6 or 7 years, he has not reached out or given me the opportunity to get to see him.
But then, 2 years ago, Shelby did get a call from her dad who wanted to share some exciting news. He found a new woman, this time in Texas, and they got married. He told Shelby that his bride was a 32-year-old Christian woman named Maria and explained they would soon be rich once he was done paying Maria's lawyer in order to obtain a $10 million inheritance. Now, Shelby has tried to reconnect with her father and meet her new stepmom. But the problem is, David hasn't even met her new stepmom yet. They were married, but they were married over the internet. And he has yet to see his marriage license or his new bride. In fact, David hasn't even spoken to Maria on the phone. Why? Well, because he says she lost most of her hearing in a car accident, so she's only able to text. Now, Shelby wants my help finding out if Maria is a real person or if her dad is just another catfish scam victim.
My father told me out of the blue, I've met this woman online. He went off on a tangent about how he is 62 and she is 32 and they've never met in person. They got married over the internet. I said, excuse me? My father told me her name is Maria and she lives in Texas. She works at a grocery store. She's deaf from a car accident. She has this inheritance that comes from the German government. She must find someone who loves her for her before she can get this inheritance. My father doesn't find any of this odd. Sadly, I wasn't surprised, but I did believe that he was being scammed or catfished. I full-heartedly believe that my father believes he is married to this person and that this person is real and one day he will meet them and live happily ever after. I have told them, are you sure like who you're talking to is who they say they are? He will say, I'm upset with you. Like, I can't believe you don't trust Maria. You are stopping me from having my happiness. Please just trust her. And I tell him, I'm sorry, I can't. I don't think it's real. It doesn't make sense. I get very frustrated when my father trusts a woman he's never met in person over his own daughter. I don't understand what she's getting from him. He doesn't have money to give to her. He says he's paying a lawyer. I don't know who the lawyer is or where the money's actually going. The concept of Maria has brought us together to have something to talk about, but it brings out the bad side in the both of us. It stops us from talking to each other, so it definitely has its negative impacts. on our relationship. I reached out to Dr. Phil in the hopes of working on my relationship with my father and to find the truth out about Maria, to either bring him together and make him happy or for him to see the truth so that he can move on.
Well, joining me virtually is Shelby. Shelby, you're concerned that your father is being taken advantage of, correct?
Yes.
And you're wondering why he's being naive about this. Is that a fair word to use?
Yeah, I don't understand why he's believing in a person he hasn't met.
You've got to also be wondering why he's not believing you. I mean, you're his own daughter, and granted, you haven't had a close relationship with him. She's virtual, you're real. And you say you haven't seen your dad in person since age 12, but then he did know you.
Hmm.
And now, your mother died in 2013, correct?
Correct.
I'm very sorry for your loss. I know that's difficult. You were just 12 years old when she passed, right?
Correct.
And that's very difficult. I know it's tough to lose a parent anytime, but it's always tough when you're just a child. And it was at that time that your mother was sick and he asked you to up and leave and go with him overseas, right?
Correct. Yes.
You refused and said, I'm not leaving my mother while she's sick. And sure enough, a month and a half after he bailed, your mother did pass away.
If I'd gone with him, I wouldn't seen my mother in her last days. I would have lost that opportunity.
So he left you there to bear that burden of your mother in
Yes.
her last days without him to lean on or to support you.
Right. Yeah.
Now, you say that he's worked a lot more on his relationship with Maria than he has with his own daughter. In fact, I kind of made a comparison graphic. For Maria, they talk daily via text because she's pretty much deaf. He sent her $25,000 in the last 2.5 years. How much has he sent you?
About $300 or $400 in total, maybe.
Okay, maybe. He makes plans to see Maria. He puts her on a pedestal, but for you, he talks maybe once a week, sent you 3 birthday cards with $100 in them in 7 years, so that's the $300 or $400. Hasn't seen you in 7 years, and he certainly isn't prioritizing his family. We know that, right?
Right. Right.
But he says sometimes he'll text with her 7 or 8 times a day.
Correct. Yes.
How do you feel about that? He's certainly not investing that kind of energy or time or money into you.
No. I've been very close to like where he's located. Tried making the effort of let's meet up, but that's too much for him to drive a half an hour to an hour, even though I've driven 10 plus hours to be wherever I am, and he still doesn't want to meet up. So it's kind of hurtful that he puts her first so much.
What does he say to you about this Maria and the $10 million inheritance coming out of Germany?
If I tell him how much money I need to get through college in a year or two after, he'll give it to me. As long as I believe in Maria and I'm nice to her and I welcome her into our family. It's very real. He believes full-heartedly.
Okay, so this money, in his opinion, is coming. Is he a gold digger?
I don't think so. I think he truly believes he's in love with her.
Uh-huh. But there is the $10 million.
Right, which can't hurt. That's got to be nice too.
Yeah, that makes somebody pretty shiny. I mean, you like somebody, but then if they got $10 million in their back pocket, that kind of puts a little glow to them.
Yeah, right.
You say that your dad has told you that love is blind, but this is for real. So he's not blinded by his emotions.
That's what he has said, and I think that's what he believes, yes.
Okay. Has he said anything to you about the fact that he's twice her age and she seems to be, I think we could consensually say, drop dead gorgeous? And has he wondered why she would be marrying somebody she's never met that's twice her age and seems to have very little in common?
I've asked that question. He has not. Apparently, according to him, the daughter, the little girl, saw his picture on the dating website and was like, "That's who I want my daddy to be." And the little girl chose him, and the mother went along with it, which made even less sense to me. But he's never questioned that.
Never questioned it at all.
Mm-mm.
Well, David is actually here. I mean, he's going to join us. He says that he is in love with his wife, Maria. Now, I'm just an old country boy from Texas, and when I use the word wife, it usually describes somebody that I've at least met. Okay, I mean, certainly somebody I would have at least, I don't know, chatted up, had at least a casual conversation with, but damn sure would have at least met if I call somebody my wife. I've been married 44 years, and I've met Robin. I've met her more than a time or two. I see her in the hall occasionally at home. We pass each other, and I've seen her enough to know that's her. That's her. I've seen her before. I saw her yesterday. But nobody can tell him otherwise, so he has a different definition of relationship and marriage. But like I say, I'm just an old country boy. He married her through the internet, which didn't exist when I got married, so maybe I might have looked at it differently. But after 2.5 years, he's never met her in person. Maybe it's because air travel between where he is and she is just so expensive that they neither could afford it. We'll find out about all that when we meet David next.
About a year after Marie and I met, she told me that she had an inheritance that was worth $8.8 million. I thought, well, that's wonderful. A beautiful woman wants to share her inheritance with me. In 6 days, we'll be getting $10.6 million.
And later, you told your daughter Shelby we are married. She's telling your daughter no, and you said you were married, so which is it?
When I talk with my father, he will say things like, "I'm so proud of you, sweetheart," or "Good job, I know you're doing great. How can you be proud of me if you don't know what I'm doing?" And he thinks he's being kind and it'll get on my good side. In reality, it makes me more upset.
Shelby says her father, David, has been absent most of her life, and she says that he is in denial that he's done anything wrong, just in terms of being a father. She says she hasn't seen him in 7 years following her mother's death when he left the country to be with a woman in Italy. So he traveled from the U.S. to Italy. So we know he will travel the globe to see someone. But now David is married to a different woman. This woman he met on the internet, but he's yet to meet her in person. David says he wants to fix his relationship with Shelby so they can all be together one day.
I've been in a relationship with a young lady by the name of Maria that I met online about 2.5 years ago. The moment I saw her picture, after I picked my jaw up off the ground, I heard bells, I heard angels sing, I heard the harps. She just is gorgeous. Since I met Maria, we've texted sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day. About a year after we met, she told me that she had an inheritance that was worth $8.8 million. Now that's changed, it's been an investment, and it's raised up to $10.6 million. Her parents stipulated in her will for her to be married before she could get that money. She told me, "I want to marry you so we can share it and live the good life together." She says, "Don't ever consider it my money." She says, "It's our money." I thought, well, that's wonderful. A beautiful woman, half my age and 20 times prettier, wants to share her inheritance with me. Maria's sister found us a lawyer, and we couldn't be happier with him. He's a godsend. I told him we want to get married. He says, "Yeah, we can do that over the internet." The only thing we had to do was write our signatures on a blank sheet of paper that would be transposed over to the documentation. Marie and I finally got married on June 9th of 2019. I've been sending $1,500 a month to the lawyers that are in charge of our inheritance. Say in the past year, I have paid approximately $25,000, and that doesn't bother me in the least. I trust our lawyer. I know that it's going to Maria's inheritance. In 6 days, we will have the money transferred to my account. We'll be getting $10.6 million. I'm very excited about it. My life is going to change.
Well, joining me virtually is David. You're soon to be a multi-millionaire with a beautiful wife coming to you, correct?
Yes, sir. I couldn't be happier. And neither can she.
Yeah, so tell me about Maria.
Well, exactly what do you want to know? I mean,
Well, I want to know what you love about Maria.
She's kind.
Uh-huh.
She's intelligent. She has a smile on her face. Look at the pictures. You see any that aren't smiling? That's how I want to live my life. She
Right.
cares about me. I love her dearly.
Uh-huh.
We have a daughter from her previous marriage of hers, and she's just a bundle. You know, she's great.
So you say we have a daughter, the two of you. You consider that child your daughter now.
Well, sure.
And what's her name?
She's going to be taking care of me. Her name is Karen.
Yeah, Karen. Uh-huh. And how old's Karen?
Soon to be 6.
She's going on 6? Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what happened to her biological father?
Honestly, Maria said that he just didn't treat her well. He wasn't the best father or the best husband.
Uh-huh. What does Maria think about your relationship with your daughter, Shelby?
I'm honest with her. I know it's forced a lot, actually. And she knows that I love her dearly. I would do anything for her. And I haven't been able to. You know, money makes the world turn.
Well,
I mean, I could love her, of course.
Well, this is the first time that you've actually seen her in 7 years. Is it possible that you're making a mistake about Maria?
When I first met her, I said, oh, here we go. This is a scam, a beautiful woman. But after getting to know her for about a year, it's impossible to be a scam.
Well, this is the first time that you've actually seen Shelby in 7 years. How does she look to you?
Like her mother. She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
She is. She's looking at smiles. Now tell me that girl ain't pretty. Looks a little bit like me.
You barely said anything to her when you first saw her. You didn't speak to her or anything. You want to say anything to her now?
I didn't know she was there. Hi, Shelby. How are you doing, sweetheart? I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you. You work your tail off. You got it from your mother. She had a work ethic that was, and just a courage and an inner strength that very few people in the world have. And you got it. I see it. Every day when you tell me that, or well, every day, every time we talk, I apologize. I just know you're doing the best you can do. And you're kicking hiney, young lady. You're doing great. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you feel badly about leaving her to deal with her mother's death by herself?
Of course, but no, we remember things differently a little bit. Now, I'm not doubting her. I mean, she remembers things the way she remembers, and I do as well. But no, I didn't leave until her mother had passed away. I got the news from her aunt.
Well, you were still there when her mother passed away?
Yeah, and they came over and told me she has passed away.
You were in town, but you were definitely not there for me. You did not show up.
Let me explain that.
Or the funeral.
She didn't need me. She had people who loved her around her. She didn't need me. We were respects.
But you, my
and
father, I would have loved to have you there. I lost one
for
parent.
you. That's what I know. I don't
I
understand,
lost
sweetheart.
one parent, and then I lost another because you chose to leave. Yes.
All right. But when they came over to tell me, they said, Dave, it's going to be a distraction for Shelby. We'd rather you didn't come to the funeral, but you can if you like, but we'd prefer you didn't. And I kind of agreed with that. You got enough on your mind. I know you need my help. I know you need but I don't know how to explain it any better, sweetheart. Shelby, I'm human. I know I could have done better. You know what? I was pretty devastated myself because I know
Understand.
I don't want to go into details. It breaks my heart. She's a good woman. We just weren't meant for each other.
Let me
Yes,
jump
sir.
in and ask you something here. You say I'm human. Since you're human, when you say that, that's just kind of another way of saying you're not perfect, that you can
By no
make mistakes, right?
Biggest one I've made in a long time, sir.
But humans make mistakes. Is it possible that you're making a mistake about Maria? She's too shy to have a video call.
She's promised me a call and then backs out and says I'm not comfortable with that. I'm too shy.
Why does she not have a video call with you, David?
Honestly, I don't know.
You're married.
I just never thought about it.
Is it possible that you're making a mistake about Maria?
Well, you know what?
I mean, just is it
Anything's
possible? I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying it's possible, right?
Anything's possible, sure. And trust me, sir, let me say this. When I first met her, I said, oh, here we go. This is a scam. A beautiful woman shows a check for $8,800,000, turns around and tells me she loves me. I've told her first. Everything that you could possibly put. Stephen King could not write a better scam, and I get it. But after getting to know her for about a year, it's impossible to be a scam. We have conversations constantly, or texting.
Well, it's not impossible. Anything's possible, right?
I don't know.
I mean, come on, just you and I, just man to man, we can agree anything's possible.
Oh, absolutely. God makes anything possible.
According to you, here's what you know about Maria. Her name is Maria Donna Walker, and she was born July 15th, 1988. She's 32 years old, grew up in Germany, moved to California and then to Texas. Her parents are deceased, car accident, 7 years ago. Now, her dad, John Walker, mom, you don't know her name, and her location is a little fuzzy because at one point she said Austin, but then when you brought that up later, she said, no, I said Houston. And you said, no, you said Austin. She said, no, I said Houston. So she's either Austin or Houston. There's some fuzziness about that. But as I said, she's 32, works at a grocery store named Piggly Wiggly or Royal Blue. She was divorced in her 20s, and she's now married to you with a 5-year-old daughter named Karen. And she does have a disability because she's partially deaf, a car accident, but different from the one in which her parents were killed.
Yes, exactly right. It's the store. I just can't remember the name of it. It doesn't come up very much. It's not Piggly Wiggly. It was
Royal Blue. Royal Blue.
Oh, yeah.
May I clarify on that?
Yes.
Piggly Wiggly is where she told me that she worked. And
Yes,
once
she
I
did.
brought it up that there is no Piggly Wiggly in Texas, she told me, oh yeah, I don't work there. Sorry, wrong conversation. So I asked her where she worked, and she said, oh, I don't know the name of it.
Okay, but she can only text because she can't hear very well, and she's too shy to have a video call.
She's promised me a call and then backs out and says, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm too shy.
Okay, why does she not have a video call with you, David?
I don't know.
Well,
Honestly, I don't know.
You're married.
Well, yeah, but I just never thought about it. She is who she is. She has her feelings and her shortcomings, and everyone does. You know, I don't know. I just never thought about it. Not the first time.
You've never thought about wanting to see this woman on the screen?
Well, sure I have, Dr. Phil.
Well, you just said I've never thought about it.
But it is what it is. You know, I can't change that. She has her feelings, and I trust her. I don't think she's ever lied to me. But,
okay.
You know, who knows?
Well, let's take a break. David says Maria lives in Houston, Texas, and works at a grocery store. But as I said, she seemed confused about which one when she was talking to Shelby. So is Maria telling both of them the truth about her job? Well, you know me. David says he never thought about it. It is what it is. I'm not quite so easily satisfied. So I decided to get to the bottom of this and just find out exactly where she does work, if anywhere. And I'm from Texas, so I know my way around the Lone Star State. We're going to be right back.
I'm here in Austin, Texas. Maria said she worked in the Royal Blue Market. So I'm gonna go check those out. We're gonna see if anyone remembers Maria.
A lot of this did not line up, so I did some research into this. When I Googled, I found no social media, didn't find her in Texas. I found nothing on her name. So I started asking questions. Maria has told me before that she works at a Piggly Wiggly. And when I pointed out that there is no Piggly Wiggly in Texas, she said, "Oh, but I do work at a grocery store." So I asked her what grocery store, and she said, "Oh, I don't know." And I was like, "How do you not know what grocery store you work at if you've worked there for 3 years?" I've tried very hard to give Maria the benefit of the doubt for the sake of my father, but there's no doubt in my mind that Maria is not who she says she is, and that the lawyer that my father thinks he is sending money to is not a real lawyer.
Well, David says he's head over heels in love with a woman named Maria who reached out to him on Facebook. He says she is a beautiful, patient, loving, caring Christian who is a mother to a 5-year-old girl named Karen and lives in Texas, loves horses, works at a grocery store. But Shelby says she fears her dad's marriage. He signed a blank piece of paper. They then took that signature, transferred it over to some kind of a marriage license of which he has no copy, and they were declared married. But Shelby fears that Maria isn't real and that he's being scammed. Now, Maria claims to work at a grocery store in Austin. And she said this to you, correct, Shelby?
Correct.
And she first said she worked at Piggly Wiggly.
Correct.
Okay, now I'm from Texas, and they don't have Piggly Wigglies in Texas.
Right.
Then she said that she worked at Royal Blue. But anyway, I had a producer on the ground in Texas investigate. And David, you want to pay close attention to this. Here's what we found out.
Hi, Dr. Phil. I'm here in Austin, Texas. Now, I know Maria told David that she worked at a Piggly Wiggly. I've lived in Texas most of my life, and we don't have Piggly Wigglies here. But then Maria said she worked in another food market here in Austin, and that market's called the Royal Blue Market. And there are 6 locations, so I'm gonna go check those out. We're gonna see if anyone remembers Maria. Strike 1. The second store. Third time's a nope. I showed it to a couple people in there. Nobody recognized Maria. This is our last chance. Store number 6. Let's go. Total strikeout. No one knew Maria. So, Dr. Phil, we went to all 6 locations, and while no one was able to talk to us on camera, everyone we spoke to had never seen this woman before. So we gave it a shot, but it looks like we struck out with Maria in Austin.
Okay, so Shelby, David, there is no Piggly Wiggly in Texas, so that was not true when she said she worked there. Then she switched to Royal Blue. They have 6 locations in Austin, which are scattered around. We went to every location in Austin and talked to the managers, the people that run the stores in Austin. She doesn't work there, has never worked there. There's no record of her ever working there. She doesn't work at that grocery store either. So there is no Piggly Wiggly, and she doesn't work where she said she worked at Royal Blue. So that is a complete fabrication.
Well, I've never heard of Royal Blue. I don't know that she said Royal Blue. If she said it to Shelby, she said it. But I remember, she's told me, but it wasn't like,
Well,
it never,
David,
when it comes up, she's just saying she's going to work.
we have your pre-interview, and you told us, she told you she worked at Royal Blue Grocery.
Well, what I said, Dr. Phil, was I can't remember the exact name of it because it only came up once.
Well, that's not what you said in your pre-interview. You remembered Royal Blue. That's a pretty random thing to pull out of the air if that's not what she said.
Well, I guess I have no explanation.
Now, here's a text between Shelby and Maria concerning you being married. Shelby says, I have 2 questions though. When did you guys meet, and are you really engaged? Hey, you guys got married? And Maria says, hi, not yet. Am planning to see David soon and coming to Florida. We met last year. Your questions are getting too much for me. Shelby says, I'm sorry, I'm just surprised when he told me you guys are married. I thought just engaged. Maria says, yes. He said because we have been together for a while and we love each other. Shelby says, but you said you aren't married. He said it's official. Maria says, if he said it, it's okay. Am driving home now, chat later. So you ask about being engaged and then married, and she's like, yeah, no, we're not married. But if he says we are, then yeah, okay, we're married.
Right. Whatever he says is true.
She's telling your daughter no. And when she said, you said you were married, then she says, oh, okay, then yeah, okay, we're married.
Okay.
So which is it?
We are married.
Well, you should tell her.
I asked her to marry me, and I talked to the lawyer. Can you arrange it? He says, yes, we can do that over the internet.
So you just signed your name on a piece of paper, and some
Blank
lawyer
piece of
told
paper,
you,
yeah.
okay, now you're married?
Yes.
You told your daughter Shelby, we are married. So she contacted her and said, you guys are married? I thought you were just engaged. And she said, oh, these questions are just too much for me. But if he said we're married, then okay, we're married.
It just felt like she was blowing me off, She didn't want to face the actual question. So I don't know. I'll talk to you later. I don't want to deal with it.
Okay.
Did you frame your marriage certificate, your marriage license? I mean, I'm sure you're proud of it.
No, sir. I have a feeling we were never really engaged. I asked her to marry me, and I talked to the lawyer soon after, not that day, and said, "Well, you want to be married? Can you arrange it?" And he says, "Yes, we can do that over the internet." And we were married, so it might have been just a matter of days. I have no explanation.
And who
The
married
only thing
you?
is that I can imagine. I don't know. That was up to the lawyer.
Well, no, somebody had to pronounce you man and wife.
Yeah.
Was it a judge? Was it a preacher?
I have no idea.
So you just signed your name on a piece of paper, and some
Blank
lawyer
piece of
told
paper,
you,
yeah.
okay, now you're married?
Yes.
Man, I'm going to be careful where I write my name.
Yeah, I ended up out to sea. It kind of, you know what I mean?
What's the lawyer's name?
Michael, and I don't know his last name. She's told me, but it just hasn't been an issue.
Okay, you were married by a lawyer and you don't know his last name. Okay.
I don't remember it. She's mentioned it. It's kind of like the store situation.
Yeah,
I don't remember. I
seems
don't
like.
dwell on it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the situation on the marital status. He sent his signature on a blank paper, and a lawyer called and said, "You're married." You never saw a marriage certificate, and according to Texas law, you must be present or sign an affidavit and have proof of identification for a marriage license. And Maria told Shelby they are married if David says so. Did you provide this lawyer with proof of identification and sign an affidavit in front of a notary?
No, I did not do the affidavit, but yes, I sent all the my phone. My driver's license, Social Security, everything involved. They had me investigated, so.
I'll bet they did.
You're killing me here, Phil.
That's the paperwork for your marriage certificate. That's all the paperwork you've got is your signature. I've blurred your last name, so that was the paperwork. You just wrote your name on a blank piece of paper.
That was what I was instructed to do.
And then a lawyer whose name you don't remember just emailed you back or texted you back and said, "Congratulations, you're married."
Mm-hmm. And the powers to be that are in charge of her inheritance said they needed that because there was a stipulation in her will. Her parents left, said you have to be married. Right. And it has to be someone that we can trust and that we know that he loves you, will take care of you.
You've seen the will.
I have not. You've killing me, I'm telling you.
But the will says it's got to be somebody we trust, not to be confused with some person on the internet that you've never met who signed a blank piece of paper and says we're married. That's right. Who did they turn down? How do they know they can trust you? All they got's your name on a blank piece of paper.
No, the police report, talk to friends. They had me investigated.
David says he has talked to his lawyer on the phone, and he has a strong German and Nigerian accent. So who is this lawyer? Maybe he'll talk to me. I'm going to get to the bottom of all this next. Well, we're out of time today, but it's clear I have a lot more investigating to do. Trust me, you will not want to miss the next part of this story. I'm sending my team to Houston, Texas, to see if Maria really lives there. And I'm going to call the lawyer that David's been paying to find out what's happened to his marriage certificate and his money, and when he can expect his wife's $10 million inheritance to land. I can promise you that I am going to get to the bottom of this, and I'm going to find the real Maria. What I'm going to reveal is going to be a very big surprise for David. Here's a sneak peek.
Next time, David thinks he's married
to Maria, who he's never met.
Is she real?
You can go see her. Do you know what it costs to fly? $38.
I was under the impression it was a lot more than that.
You think you might check?
Or is he being catfished?
The address Maria gave David is non-existent.
Wait till you see the twist.
The woman David believes is Maria does exist.
That's next time.
Okay, you can see this is going to be, well, let's just say an all-skate. Going to have a lot of people involved in this reveal. I'd like to thank all of my guests today. For more information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. And listen, I've been showing up on Facebook a lot, answering a lot of your questions, responding to a lot of your comments. So join me on Facebook so we can have some interesting conversation about today's show. I'd like to know what you guys think. Don't forget to subscribe to Robin's podcast, I've Got a Secret. And let me tell you, Robin has a lot of hot topics to share with you. Nothing is off limits. And some recent secrets include the importance of skincare and the secret to personal style. And if anybody knows about style, it's her. Every week she's joined by different celebrities, experts, and entrepreneurs. Together they share, learn, grow, and they sure laugh a lot. You don't want to miss that. We'll see you next time.